When was the next time you saw Paul after ECW closed and he didn't even have a decency to call you and tell you?
At the Garden. We had to try out at the Garden. Chris was on that show too, Crowbar. It was me and Roadkill against the FBI. We did a dark at the Garden. And he came over and
I'm sorry. How long ago after ECW closed was this? What's the time frame?
2-3 months.
Okay.
I think something like that. Maybe a little bit. It was somewhere around. It was relatively. It was within.
Okay.
Within a half a year, definitely, easily. It had to be 2 or 3 months, maybe even quicker than that. And he was like, he just told us, he goes, like they, and you've been there, so Tony Gurry was like, yeah, I don't know, maybe just somewhere at the comeback, throw a big back body drop, give him that,
do a sunset flip,
and we were
kind of
hot
finish.
Yeah, and they're like, you're not gonna know who you are, so just do that, just hot. And I'm like, we're kind of like looking at you like, what do we do? And that's when we saw Paul, and Paul goes, no, you do everything. And we got heat for it. We did everything.
Of course.
And
You did.
Again, I never felt a pop. Like I never had a pop like that in my career. Like we got at the Garden. I mean, it was unreal. And we thought we were like, okay, we know we can make money for the company. So where do we sign? And we got in the back, and it was like agent had like Shotgun City on us. It was like they were shooting bullet holes through us. They ripped us to shreds. And I look back on it, and I was like, you know what? And people are mad at Paul for giving us that advice, but I'm looking back at it, I think we were in a situation where we were damned if we did and damned if we didn't. If we went out there and did a big back body drop, like we suggested, we would go, this is your guys, this is what they do. And then we did what we did, and I think we were going to get heat one way or the other, because we were at that time, I think, viewed as Paul's guys, and I don't think he was where he was now. I think he was more of a, I think he even had heat or something. I don't know, whatever. It was not very good at the time, and there was such a saturated market too. They were doing the invasion angle,
right?
And we wound up not getting jobs. We wound up getting heat. Guido got a job like a year later when he came in as Nunzio, but we thought we were golden after that match, but it wasn't to be.
You come back. It's crazy now. Like if you had that same match now in 2022. It'd be the greatest thing ever. Me and Crowbar would go out there and we do our stuff, and people look at us when we came back like we just we're slapping babies out there. But now that indie-rific style, it's so over.
Well, not only that, but if you really look at it, like you back then, like you and Chris were in great, like really amazing shape. You were jacked, but with that, you were probably still considered a midget.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and you're what, 5'10", 230, 240 at the time?
Yeah.
And now you'd be one of the biggest guys in the locker room.
Yeah.
So it's just funny to me. Like I always say that too. It's like people like always got on Taz when Taz debuted. Like, look at this guy's midget. It was like he's literally still bigger than half the guys that are on top now. And that's, again, not a diss on what it is. It's just a different animal.
So you didn't get a job then. Tell me when you did get a job.
I started doing. Tommy started getting me deals doing mocapping. So I was doing mocapping for a couple of years for the video games, which is the motion capture for like the Raw SmackDown games.
Okay.
A bunch of us would go out to LA and do that. It was like me, Kevin Thorne, Mordecai, MVP, I think Angelina Love, Mickey James, Johnny Swinger. Like, we were always out. We were doing like 2 or 3 years straight. And then finally Tommy called me up because this is, I get to hire you today. And I thought he was talking about mocapping again, but it's actually for the brand, because they were getting ready to do the one night stand. So he called me for the one night stands. All I did was train for that first one night stand. And then right after that, he called me and goes, "No, I'm offering you a job." And that was basically, I was just kind of like, wow, finally, like, you put in all that work and you finally got to this point. So like, I was completely, like, I felt vindicated. I felt like everything I put in was justified, and I was extremely happy. Although that said, it turned out I had no idea what was about to happen. But yeah, it was a cool moment for that, to have that happen.
Did he tell you anything creatively? Did he tell you your team? No, just show up to work.
No, it was like we guys would be the ECW brand. And we're going to do a lot of the old house show. The house show loop will be a lot of the whole places we ran. And we ran a lot of places we used to run on the house show loop, like ice arenas and Agora Hall, and I think Cleveland we did, and the arena we did. And the only difference is we had, guys in the locker room that were WWE guys. We had Kurt Angle, we had Big Show, and guys like that. So it was a mixture of their brand and our brand. But it became very clear very early to all of us that we were there to be phased out so they could bring in their developmental guys. It was literally maybe within a month of us signing that we figured out what we were going to. And it was hard to, in the time that they gave us for these matches, to showcase, what we could be or what we could do. And it was very hard to pitch ideas because they weren't very receptive to them. And it became very frustrating because you're better than this, where you kind of see where it's going. You're hoping that it doesn't, and your ideas aren't being listened to, and you're not getting anything in. You have to basically try to show personality between taking beatings, try to throw up a flag to get noticed. And it became easily went from I thought was gonna be the highest point of my career to basically the worst part of my entire wrestling career was the time I spent there. Easily. I was a miserable person. I wasn't good to my girlfriend at the time / wife now. I was just I was angry. I was upset. I felt like everything I did was for nothing. I was very depressed. And I was in the worst place of my life, mentally, emotionally, everything at that point, which it was ridiculous to say because it's supposed to be the place that you worked your whole life to get to. And it literally turns into the worst experience of your actual career.
We talked about the Lita thing earlier. They bring her in with Essa Rios. It's probably the kiss of death, but at least it's a foot in the door. I mean, did you look at this like maybe, hey, at least I got my foot in the door. At least I'm here. Or were you like, I want to get the hell out of here?
No, I for a while I was like, okay, let's make we get out there. Let's make the most of what we're doing. You go out there you go out there sometimes and you would get. I remember wrestling CM Punk. I think we had 7 or 8 minutes. We got out there and they go take it home. Like we hadn't even locked up. Like we had to get home in 2 minutes. These are things that were happening on a nightly basis. And I know when we first got there, me and Roadkill working tag matches with Guido and Mamaluke, and we were killing it. And I had seen things that would support that. And then we were split up, which I always thought was weird. So he would be on one loop, I'd be on the other, and we weren't even together anymore. We never even had an actual tag match on TV as a tag team. During that era, we had done Velocity, we had done Heat, we had done matches together there, but never on the ECW brand to show anybody on that primetime slot that we could do something, which was also frustrating and weird to me. But yeah, so I just at one point I just said, you know what? I became so upset, and I didn't do myself any favors. I gave up. I started sitting in catering. I stopped going to the gym. So I went from being like just hopeful to just let's just wait it out till Johnny calls you up and wishes you best of luck. And that's where I was at, man. I was done. I was done with it all. I didn't want to wrestle for a while. In fact, the only thing that I've ever sold of mine, wrestling wise, I have all my gear, all my tights, all my robes, all my boots, was my WWE outfit. It's the only thing I ever parted with.
How did it end?
I got a call one day. I was I thought I was being a good soldier. I wasn't booked. They were doing Nassau, and I kind of drove up. I was like, just show up and just say, hey, here I am. You know what I mean? I'm here if you guys need me. Not like it's around the block. Nassau Coliseum is, it's still a ride. It's still Eastern Long Island. That Bell Parkway is not your friend. And I kind of got heat for it from my member. I was like, why are you here? I was like, I thought I worked here. I mean, I was like, I'm just showing up like a good soldier in case you need me. I'm here. You weren't booked. I was like, okay. And then it was like literally, I think that Monday, Johnny called me, or I think it was Friday. He called me the next Friday, and I didn't answer. Not that I didn't answer, I just missed it. And I tried to call, and then he got me Monday, and he was, well, I don't have good news for you. And I was just kind of laughing. I was like, yeah, I know. I wouldn't imagine you would, because it's not like you call me every other day. You know what I mean? So, and I remember that day I had went out and I had bought a TV because my brother lived with me at the time. We had just bought the new John Madden game, I think. And I went to buy a TV so we could play it on the PlayStation. And the lady was trying to talk me into, like, I think she was trying to talk me into a 42 inch and or a 50 inch. I wanted a 42 inch, whatever it was. And I said, lady, I don't know if you read the internet today, but but Johnny just wished me future luck in my best future endeavors. So I'm save the money on that 8 inches and make this 90 days last.